Deep in the quiet frozen tundra of the vast Siberian wasteland, hidden from the eyes of the Western world, a group of men and women busily scurry from one end of a giant laboratory to another. Some of them wear white medical smocks, while others are protected by heavier outer clothing stitched with lead fiber. All wear nameplate bars. A 3-inch square piece of gauze-like material dangling below each bar, looking much like a military campaign ribbon, is in reality a radiation detection badge. The laboratory itself is deeply hidden underground. It is heavily fortified on the outside, and within, Russian sentries, the elite of the Red Army, stand guard. In one corner of the spacious laboratory, standing below the high, curtained window, is a roped-off area. Inside this enclosure stands a silver disc the size of a small 2-story building. The disc is unlike anything seen by human eyes. With a smooth mirror finish, each part seems perfectly engineered, precisely curved and uniformly angled. The entire design of the disc blends together to form a beautiful, otherworldly form, with not a single rough edge or ungainly protrusion. The term otherworldly is not an understatement, for as fantastic as it sounds, the disc is a captured UFO, an interstellar space vehicle which crash-landed more than 6 months ago in Zhigansk, along the banks of the Lena River, located in northwestern Siberia. Inside the spotless craft are elaborate instrument panels, as yet unknown mathematical formula on their dials. Charts of the vast reaches of space adorn walls, rooms and entranceways are designed with flawless engineering principles in mind, and highly sophisticated touches intended for comfort, ease of movement and precision maintenance are in evidence. Those in attendance, physicians, space engineers, chemists, nuclear physicists and astrophysicists have been summoned secretly, drafted from highly classified dossier compiled by top-ranking officers of the Soviet Academy of Science in Moscow. They have been flown under cover of darkness to this remote spot, not far from the University at Tomsk, situated in the south of this Arctic region. Their assignment, probing the craft and its secrets. The detailed information concerning this captured space vehicle has been supplied to this publication not by a writer of science fiction stories, nor by a member of the press, Soviet or otherwise. The account was supplied via a secret communications from deep behind the Iron Curtain. What is more, our source informs us that the Soviet officials have the bodies of 2 of the occupants of this extraterrestrial vehicle. Their demise unknown, or as yet unrevealed. The bodies have been flown by jet to Moscow University for autopsy and further study. The bodies are small, almost childlike, with elongated limbs, arms and very large heads. The skin texture of these extraterrestrial creatures is rough, almost leather-like. Their eyes are large, with what one might call popping or protruding. Their mouths are small. When found behind the controls of their ship, they were already deceased. The garments they wore, which had been removed for purposes of study and evaluation, were uniforms of some sort, identical with the exceptions of shoulder patches on an embossed triangle, and on the other a square within which was a tiny circle, obviously a signet of rank of some sort. They wore no underclothing beneath this, and their skin is hairless. Aside from that, the outer space astronauts, the males, have sexual organs equal to that of their human male counterparts. The UFO, which as far as is known by our standards is undamaged, has been in Soviet hands since February 1979. It was spotted via radar over the Ural Mountains and dropped to Earth, obviously disabled, on February the 17th. It was tracked rapidly, losing altitude over Zhigansk along the banks of the Lena River. Since November of 1978, a total of 47 unidentified flying objects have been spotted and radar tracked over Siberia, a frozen area which stretches from the Ural Mountains to the Pacific and from the Arctic Ocean to Mongolia. Early on the morning of December the 21st, 1978, residents of Krasnoyarsk stood dumbfounded as a jet aircraft suddenly came into view. The rate it was traveling, even for a jet fighter, was extraordinarily rapid, especially for that altitude. Within seconds, it was joined by a second, and then a third, and finally a fourth. Without any apparent loss of speed, they flew from a side-to-side formation to a formation one behind the other, and in what seemed like a straight line, flew across the clear sky. One reliable witness reported, after pausing for a matter of brief seconds, they suddenly rose together as one and sped into the blue, behind a mass of snow-covered peaks, and disappeared. Just before they vanished, they came to a dead stop in mid-air. It could be determined that they were round, shiny and metallic, glinting brightly in the rays of the sun. Approximately 2 weeks later, high over the transatlantic railroad in Khabarovsky, a stretch of land situated near the reindeer-raising farms of Vladivostok, the interior of a bus suddenly became unbearably hot. Those in their seats began to sweat, and their ears were shattered by the almost deafening sound, which resembled the buzzing of millions of bees. According to one occupant of the bus, fur trapper Vladimir Petrov, the sound, filled the inside of the bus, bemusing my senses, all the while becoming hotter and hotter. Finally, the driver had to stop, and to escape the unbearable heat, all of us had to climb out. Gazing upward, we saw a large, white, or more appropriately, silver object spinning about 200 feet overhead. It weaved in a jerky motion from side to side. It banked somewhat and then went into an upward spiraling motion, did a figure eight, balanced on its rim, and then finally rolled twice, all the while climbing for altitude. It hovered for about 40 seconds before darting away and out of sight. Unlike these previous reports, UFO sightings over Russian territory had not been limited to the icy regions of Siberia. They have occurred over the years throughout the entire motherland, from Moscow to Leningrad, Rostov and Volgograd, and eastward to the red satellite countries. UFOs have become an almost normal occurrence. On June the 16th, 1978, two round objects hovered for 20 minutes high over the city of Petrozavodsk near Moscow. Although accounts varied as to their size, many witnesses agreed that purple, red and bright green exhaust emanated simultaneously from the twin craft. 4 months later, the UFOs skimmed the treetops on the outskirts of the Moscow suburb, causing automobiles to come to a dead stop for 13 minutes on the road below. For that amount of time, television sets lost their power and household electricity went dead. There have been many other reported throughout the Soviet Union. During the 6-month period from October the 3rd, 1978 to March the 6th, 1979, sightings have become so numerous that the Russian government ordered a UFO alert in which scientists requested that citizens not hesitate in reporting encounters directly to the Soviet Academy of Sciences. This was the first open admission that a government-sponsored UFO research program was being conducted. The Academy not only requested that all sightings be reported, but also urged that a great amount of care be exercised in securing as much pertinent data as possible concerning size, shape, color, general description, and other outstanding features of the objects. They asked for photographic documentation wherever possible. That something major is going on was revealed by well-known Soviet author and lecturer Alexander Katsentsev, who told a prominent American newspaper, "Exciting new information has been seeping through from Petrozavodsk concerning a spaceship that visited the area recently. The Petrozavodsk sightings concerns a ball of light that appeared in the sky over the city on September the 24th, 1977. Approximately 3 minutes after the ball of light was spotted, it turned into a silvery disc-shaped saucer that hung in the sky, zigzagged over the buildings, hung suspended again, and then maneuvered gracefully for close to half an hour before zooming off straight up and out of sight." Russian physicist Dr. Vladimir Ashasa brought out that the Petrozavodsk UFO seems to indicate that an extraterrestrial civilization is in the final stage prior to direct communication with the Earth. Other scientists agree that a first major landing, a breakthrough between people of different planetary systems, is quite possible in the near future. Many speculate that this breakthrough, when it comes, may be more than we bargained for. Many within the scientific community express alarm at the prospect that the downed alien spacecraft may bring dire repercussions from a planetary system or society of its origin. In fact, a tone of skepticism in the form of a warning has already been expressed by a group of Soviet space experts connected with the Academy. Nuclear Fission Authority Dr. Anatol Petrovich, instrumental in the October 4, 1957 launching of the 188-pound Sputnik 1 satellite, said, "If alien intelligence possess the scientific knowledge to send one or several of their vehicles into our solar system close enough for one of their number to come crashing onto our planet, they must also know the fate of its occupants and what has happened to the celestial vehicle in which they came. It's quite within the realm of possibility that our motives in taking the ship for examination might be misconstrued, and our part in the incident may be deemed as a hostile act. I would not be surprised if one day they would make themselves known to us and demand, 'What have you done with our crew?'" He further stated, just as their forefathers may have come in their fiery chariots centuries ago to teach and console, as well as to instruct and cherish, their motives today may be entirely different. On the other side of the ocean, author and UFO expert Arthur Shuttlewood brought out in his book UFO Prophecy, these aerial phenomena could forecast events whose worldwide impact will be fully felt in the course of the next few years. We live in an unsafe and unpredictable period fraught with hidden dangers. Crisis point might easily be reached much sooner than most people expect. It is not feasible that members of more enlightened societies from other planets, perhaps far outside of the boundary of our own solar system, are combining on a mission to Earth during a worrying, fear-filled phase of our evolution. Their duty is to assist in the change to a new age. It is of equal probability that they are concerned for us and our planet. One can learn much from studying the culture of these aliens. UFOs are an important link between worlds of the spiritual and the material, and will prove to be a significant means of aiding man to understand the spiritual oneness of all creation. One thing is for sure, not only are they here, but likely to have been monitoring our progress for many thousands of years. What secrets are being kept, and for those at the top of such incredible knowledge, how well do they understand their technology and intentions?